Welcome, my dear friends, my dear masters, and my dear gods, for yet another edition of this program where spiritual wisdom is being showered to us through this great author, Harold Baldwin Percival. I address you as friends because friendship is a culture that we have to develop the moment we are born on this earth. And I address you as masters because we are all masters of our own lives and our own kingdom. We are the monarchs of our own kingdom. And I address you as gods because we are all born gods and it is up to us to develop the godliness and to make our life blissful and worth living on this earth so that we enjoy all the benefits of living on the earth. I am accompanied today for this program on self-knowledge by Punima Aditya, who is also a senior meditator, and she has been doing meditation from the age of 17. And now she is a tarot card reader and a past life therapist. She has read the book like many of us, including me, and she has got really acquired the gems of Percival. So today we deal with the subject self-knowledge, where Percival is very particular that having been born here, it is incumbent upon us to gather all the knowledge that we can by our own selves. As Buddha says and has said that most of the suffering is because of lack of knowledge. And once we have knowledge, then there will be no suffering at all. And the knowledge is required to know how well we can get along with everything here, with everything that we have and everything that we experience in the best way possible. So I now start reading this particular portion of the book to enlighten you all on the aspect of self-knowledge. In all your lives on earth, you have been indefinably seeking, expecting, or looking for someone or something that is missing. You vaguely feel that if you could but find that for which you long, you would be content, satisfied. Dimmed memories of the ages surge up. They are the present feelings of your forgotten past. They compel a recurring world weariness of the ever grinding treadmill of experiences and of the emptiness and futility of human effort. You may have sought to satisfy that feeling with family, by marriage, by children, among friends, or in business, wealth, adventure, discovery, glory, authority, and power, or by whatever other undiscovered secret of your heart. But nothing of the senses can really satisfy that longing. The reason is that you are lost. You are a lost but inseparable part of a consciously immortal triune self. Ages ago, you, as feeling and desire, the doer part, left the thinker and the knower parts of your triune self. So, you were lost to yourself because without some understanding of your triune self, you cannot understand yourself. You are longing and you are being lost. Therefore, you have at times felt lonely. You have forgotten the many parts you have often played in this world as personalities, and you have also forgotten the real beauty and power of which you were conscious while with your thinker and knower in the realm of permanence. But you, as doer, Long for balanced union of your feeling and desire in a perfect body, so that you will again be with your thinker and knower parts as the triune self in the realm of permanence. In ancient writings, there have been allusions to that departure in such phrases as the original sin, the fall of man, as from a state and realm in which one is satisfied. That state and realm from which you departed cannot cease to be. It can be regained by the living, but not after the death by the dead. You need not feel alone. Your thinker and knower are with you on ocean or in forest, on mountain or plain, in sunlight or shadow, in crowd or in solitude. Wherever you are, your really thinking and knowing self is with you. Your real self will protect you insofar as you will allow yourself to be protected. Your thinker and knower are ever ready for your return, however long it may take you to find and follow the path and become at last again consciously at home with them as the triune self. In the meantime, you cannot be satisfied with anything less than self knowledge. You, as feeling and desire, are the responsible doer of your triune self, and from what you have made for yourself as your destiny, you must learn the two great lessons which all experiences of life are to teach. These lessons are what to do and what not to do. You may put these lessons off for as many lives as you please, or learn them as soon as you will. That is for you to decide. But in the course of time, you will learn them. So here, our master, Harold Walvin Percival, is persuading us to know more and more about what needs to be known for better existence here. And he also reiterates that we are all triune self, in which the doer part is in the body and the knower and thinker parts are in the realm of permanence. So, with these facilities as great bodies, great personalities on this earth, we have to learn and to equip ourselves with all the knowledge that is possible.
Hello, friends, masters, and gods. So it's beautifully put by Mr. Percival that here we take lot of many lifetimes, one after the other, for only one purpose, and that is to become a Buddha. Buddha meaning, he puts it in a nice word, that is triune self. That is, a Buddha is nothing but a triune self. He has achieved that state because all his other parts, that is with the doer part, has been conscious. So he has also taken so many lifetimes to achieve that Buddhahood. So every soul in this whole process takes many lifetimes to know that part and achieve the Buddhahood state. Until that time, we will not have, each soul will not have that satisfaction, and they will also have that lonely feeling. The a kind of left out feeling will be there. So that is also mentioned by Percival. And what happens is, every lifetime we have that feeling, we get back and come back again onto the earth, and until we achieve the Buddhahood state. And basically what is actually the message we get from this whole para is, he ultimately comes to say that each one should realize as to what he should be doing and what he should not. So here again I would like to make a point. What to do, Patriji has already given us. We have to do three things every day, that is meditation, reading of books, Swadhyaya, and Sajjana Sangatya, that is sharing of our spiritual experiences. That is to be done daily. So as we do what has been given by Patriji, I think we will definitely become conscious and aware as to what not to do. We will become more aware of what we should not be doing. We'll be cutting down on unwanted speech, unwanted actions, and whatever we are unnecessarily doing, all that will be cut with these three practices. So each one should, I think, follow those three things, the most important things. So I think with doing this regularly, I think one will achieve the Buddhahood state very easily.
Plato, probably the most illustrious and representative of the philosophers of Greece, used as a precept to his followers in his school of philosophy, the Academy, know thyself, gnoti suton in Latin. From his writings, it would appear that he had an understanding of the real self, although none of the words that he used has been rendered into English as anything more adequate than the soul. Plato used a method of inquiry concerning the finding of the real self. There is great art in the exploiting of his characters, in producing his dramatic effects. His method of dialectics is simple and profound. The mentally lazy reader who would rather be entertained than learn will most likely think Plato tedious. Obviously, his dialectic method was to train the mind to be able to follow a course of reasoning and to be not forgetful of the questions and answers in the dialogue. Else, one would be unable to judge the conclusions reached in the arguments. Surely, Plato did not intend to present the learner with a mass of knowledge. It is more likely that he intended to discipline the mind in thinking so that by one's own thinking he would be enlightened and led to knowledge of his subject. This, the Socratic method, is a dialectical system of intelligent questions and answers which, if followed, will definitely help one to learn how to think. And in training the mind to think clearly, Plato has done more perhaps than any other teacher. But no writings have come down to us in which he tells what thinking is, or what the mind is, or what the real self is, or the way to knowledge of it. One must look further. The ancient teaching in India is summed up in the cryptic statement, that art thou, Tattvamasi. The teaching does not make clear, however, what that is or what that thou is, or in what way the that and the thou are related, or how they are to be identified. Yet, if these words are to have meaning, they should be explained in terms that are understandable. The substance of all Indian philosophy, to take a general view of the principal schools, seems to be that in man there is an immortal something which is and always has been an individual part of a composite or universal something, much as a drop of sea water is a part of the ocean, or as a spark is one with the flame in which it has its origin and being, and further, that this individual something, this the embodied doer, or as it is termed in the principal schools, the Atman or the Purusha, is separated from the universal something merely by the veil of sense illusion, Maya, which causes the doer in the human to think of itself as separate and as an individual, whereas the teachers declare there is no individuality apart from the great universal something termed Brahman. Freedom is to be attained, it is said, through the practice of yoga. For through yoga, it is said, the thinking may be so disciplined that the Atman, the Purusha, the embodied doer, learns to suppress or destroy its feelings and desires and dissipates the sense illusions in which it is thinking. Its thinking has long been entangled, thus being freed from the necessity of further human existence. It is eventually absorbed into the universal Brahman. Patanjali is the most esteemed of India's philosophers. The Eastern teaching, like other philosophies, is concerned with the mystery of the conscious self in the human body and the mystery of the relation between that self and its body and nature and the universe as a whole. So, we come to the universal truth that self knowledge leads you on closer to enlightenment.
So here, Percival has given us about a little bit knowledge about what Plato has actually said. He has told us that we have to dig deeper to know ourselves, and Nyati Skyoten is the term he used to use. So that is what he has mentioned, and he has also mentioned a little bit about the Eastern philosophy and also about Patanjali. Patanjali has given a great knowledge about yoga and how yoga helps in knowing ourselves. So that is about what he has mentioned here. And also Bhagavad Gita, we all know, it's all about knowing ourselves. There is not a single sloka where he doesn't include any part of everything is about ourselves. Everything I think he has touched upon is all about knowing ourselves. So that's what he has mentioned, and I would like to read out from here what Percival actually has told about Bhagavad Gita. And this book also, I would like to mention here that this book, Thinking and Destiny, if we Google search it, then I think we will get to know that this book is also equaled, or it has been compared to the Bhagavad Gita. That is one thing I would like to tell you all. So here it is actually written that in Bhagavad Gita, the most precious of India's jewels, he has mentioned, that is Percival has mentioned, and it is India's pearls beyond price. The truths imparted by Krishna to Arjuna are sublime, beautiful, and everlasting. So this is what Percival says about Krishna. So here we can infer that Percival has also gone through the Bhagavad Gita deeply. So he knows, he has understood Sanskrit so very well. So he has got that knowledge, or I'm not sure whether he has read it, but I think the knowledge which he has got through the light is being told here. I mean, I feel every sloka has been told to him from the great light. He has received the whole Bhagavad Gita, I feel. That is what I can infer from this.
Harold Walvin Percival has, after mentioning the importance of self knowledge, he has said how thinking shapes our destiny. And this is the crux of the whole book, that as we think properly, our destiny is also cleared and made better. For this, it is the mind that is very important, and how we think and how the body acts. All this is important. So let us now go into the three kinds of minds: the body mind, the feeling mind, and the desire mind. Before that, let us understand what the definition of mind is. The word mind, as commonly used, is the all inclusive term which is made to apply to all kinds of thinking indiscriminately. It is generally supposed that man has only one mind. Actually, three different and distinct minds, that is, ways for thinking with the conscious light, are being used by the embodied doer. These previously mentioned are the body mind, the feeling mind, and the desire mind. Now, let us see what the body mind is. The real purpose of the body mind is for the use of the feeling and desire to care for and to control the body, and through the body to guide and control the four worlds by means of the four senses and their organs in the body. The body mind can think only through the senses and in terms restricted to the senses and sensuous matter. Instead of being controlled, the body mind controls feeling and desire so that they are unable to distinguish themselves from the body, and the body mind so dominates their thinking that they are compelled to think in terms of the senses instead of in terms suited to feeling and desire. Now, let us see what the feeling mind is. Mind, the feeling, is that with which feeling thinks according to its four functions. These are perceptiveness, conceptiveness, formativeness, and projectiveness. But instead of using these for the emancipation of itself from bondage to nature, they are controlled through the body mind by nature through the four senses: sight, hearing, taste, and smell. Next is the mind, the desire, which desire should use to discipline and control feeling and itself, to distinguish itself as desire from the body in which it is, and to bring about the union of itself with feeling. It has instead allowed itself to be subordinate to and to be controlled by the body mind in service to the senses and to objects of nature. So, Percival has very clearly indicated that if you have to understand the functioning of the body, we should also know that we do not have five senses as has been made out to be understood through and by the Eastern philosophers. The sense of touch has not been included here, and that is why he says it is only the four senses which are also controlled by the organs, the four organs that are important in making us understand how we act and how we live. So there is a departure from the Eastern practice by Percival through his book, and it is for us to think, to grasp, and to take what we feel is suitable and to make greater progress in our spiritual development. That would be the ideal method because he gives the reader the freedom to choose in his initial foreword.
Yes, friends. So here we can see that Percival has told us about the nature of our mind, and he says that mind has nothing but thoughts, and it is also he says there are three parts or three minds, that is the body mind, the feeling mind, and the desire mind. So it is all so very body oriented, he says, and it is full of that the feelings when it just comes, and we don't stop to think whether it is required or not. Same with desire. Whatever desire we have, we tend to get it fulfilled. So here that is what he points out.
Feeling.
And also the feeling, yes, the feeling and the desire, both are, we try to satisfy that, and we don't put a thought whether we really need it or whether it is required. We don't do that. But three minds, he says here, and so that is a kind of minds we all generally have. And basically mind means a lot of thoughts also, that is what he says, which keeps coming on and off. We keep getting thoughts which are all based on the material world, and that is the from the four senses. That is, he says there are only four senses, and touch is a feeling, he says. It is not a sense. The skin is not the sense organ, he says. He says that is connected to nature, and it has to be seen as a feeling and not as a sense organ. So all the other four senses are being used through our mind, and we are always preoccupied with the material world. So self knowledge here takes a back seat. So that is what he's trying to point out.
Yeah. Now that we have understood what the definition of three minds are, I think in the next episode we will be considering how feeling and desire is one of the most and important far reaching subjects which has been put forth in this book by Percival. And till then, bye for now. Thank you, thank you, thank you.